Hi, I'm Hal Roberts. This is Bridge City News. Here's some of the top stories we've been following. Lethbridge police have laid charges in connection with a suspicious package that was left behind at the police station on Thursday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke with Queen Elizabeth today about who will be filling in as the Governor General following the resignation of Julie Payette. And we hear about a Christian organization which has been flying the skies for 75 years, bringing the message of love and hope to many nations around the world.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Hal Roberts.
Thanks so much for joining us. Lethbridge police have charged a 29-year-old man in connection with a suspicious package that was left behind at the police station yesterday. Public access was closed and a portion of the station was evacuated after the package was tossed into the front entrance around 10:15 a.m. The suspect then fled on his bicycle, but was apprehended by police a short time later. Police were investigating an earlier incident in which the same suspect allegedly set a fire inside of a planter at the police station. Kyle Glenn Lowe of Lethbridge faces a number of charges, including arson, mischief, and intimidation of justice. He appeared in court earlier today to answer to those charges. Police in Calgary are searching for a suspect they believe is responsible for at least 15 groping attacks on women since last November. Police say in each attack, the female victim was walking alone when an unknown male approached and grabbed them. They say the assaults occurred during the day and at night, with the suspect quickly fleeing afterward. Police say under the criminal code, groping is classified as sexual assault, and people convicted of the crime could serve jail time. A COVID-19 outbreak at a long-term care facility in West Edmonton is now considered the deadliest in Alberta. The outbreak at Capital Care Linwood in the West Meadowlark Park neighborhood has led to 55 deaths. Officials say over a 46-day period during the holidays, a total of 41 residents died from COVID-19. Alberta Health says there have been 262 cases linked to the outbreak at the care home. By now, many of us know someone who has gotten COVID and perhaps recovered. The United States continues to have the highest death toll due to the coronavirus in the world at more than 400,000. Now, the number of cases south of the border has even topped 24.7 million. Now, one of those cases is Shelley Woodyard of Tucson, Arizona, who got sick with the virus in December. She knows people who have been hospitalized and have died with COVID and considers herself very lucky.
Those cold symptoms were like a week, and then a fever started. I got a fever a week into having COVID already. And then that fever lasted for almost 5-6 days. Felt like fluid in the lung. But if I would breathe in real heavy like that, oh, you could totally feel it in there. Luckily, that's all it as deep as it got for me. I'm going to say that I literally had symptoms for a solid month. I feel super fortunate, I'm going to tell you, because honestly, I found out it's probably been 2 weeks now, but an old classmate of mine from elementary school, she would have went to junior high and high school, same exact age as I am, passed away of COVID. She looked like a super healthy young woman, had a family, grandkids, the whole 9 yards, and passed away really young. Another one of our friends, they got the pneumonia COVID and ended up in the hospital for a week.
Whalen Blood grew up in southern Alberta, and tragically, he passed away from COVID-19 while working in the United States. The cost to transport his body back to southern Alberta so he can be laid to rest is about $7,000 US. His family's organized a 50-50 draw in a raffle in order to help cover a lot of the costs. His brother Kyle Blood says the family is extremely grateful for the community support and spoke about the legacy his brother left behind.
He was a really awesome guy. He was a devout Christian, and he was always willing to help people out. And my brother touched a lot of hearts, and he used to work with the Blood Tribe Police Service as a constable. And after that, he served as a dispatcher, and he actually won a Governor General's Award for saving a life over the phone. And the family was very grateful for that. And it just goes to show, how much of a big heart he had. He touched a lot of hearts, and a lot of people are just like, your brother, they all had a good story to share, and they're like, okay, we want to step up and help. So once we get that out, we're seeing continuous donations coming in. So I know that number will change by the end of this weekend.
More information on how you can donate to help the Blood family can be found on our Facebook page. A recent report by the Alberta Nonprofit Network says that nonprofit groups have faced massive struggles due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The data was collected from 500 nonprofits across the province. The results revealed that mental health has been a huge problem in these organizations.
But I think the biggest surprise for us was the state of mental health for the nonprofit sector and the nonprofit sector workforce. And that's a situation we probably haven't seen before. That as we have people working from home or working in these complex environments or dealing with all these stresses, the mental health concerns are rising. And that's a dynamic that we need to be very careful to attend to. It's not one that I think we have a lot of experience with as a sector as a whole, certainly a lot of organizations working in the mental health area, but the people who deliver our services are by far the biggest asset we have. And if they're not able to continue to serve others, I think we as a community really will struggle.
We're being asked to do far more. And of course, that's what we want to do. That's what we exist for, but we're doing it with less, and we're doing it well, like everybody else. We're still dealing with, our family concerns and our own financial concerns, et cetera. So it really is a boiling pot for mental health.
The data was collected from nonprofit organizations from October the 26th through November the 6th. Kinetic Indoor Cycle and Fitness has been shut down since last year due to COVID restrictions on gyms. As Micah Quinn explains now, the fitness center has started renting out gym equipment to their clients in an effort to help encourage members to stay healthy and keep up with their mental health.
Sandra Azachuk is the owner of Kinetic Indoor Cycle and Fitness, and she says that during their first shutdown last year, the fitness center didn't rent out their equipment for clients, but during this shutdown, they have been.
We figured it would probably be a really good thing to allow people to access our equipment at home, predominantly because during our first shutdown, the weather was getting better. It was getting warmer, people were going outside. With the second shutdown, we knew people were going to be stuck indoors a little bit more. So we have indoor spin bikes and rowing machines that we rented out to our members.
Each piece of equipment was hand-delivered to clients' homes.
Set them up, showed them how to take care of them, and since we've been closed a little longer than we had anticipated, we're actually going back to the homes to service the equipment for them.
Azachuk says that the fitness center wasn't anticipating a full lift of restrictions yesterday at the daily Alberta coronavirus update, but they were hoping for a plan for steps to lift those restrictions.
And to not have even seen that was a little bit of a disappointment. We've been closed a long time, during 2020 and now into 2021. So we're anxious to get open, to serve our clients and to get people healthy, active, to get them out of the homes, and just to see people, just to have them around us and for them to be around other members as well.
Azachuk says that the fitness center values mental health and physical activity, and they are offering online classes and doing wellness checks with clients to make sure that they're okay during this time. For Bridge City News, I'm Micah Quinn.
In its 21st year, the Canadian Ranchers and Cattlemen Association is now accepting applications for its annual Young Leaders Mentorship Program. The group says it received a number of submissions from young people in Lethbridge, Coaldale, and Picture Butte. 24 semifinalists will be selected, and from that, the association will select 16 winners.
So it's for people ages 18 to 35 who are passionate about the Canadian beef industry. So each year it takes in participants and matches them with mentors in their specific area of interest for a 9-month mentorship opportunity. So we've seen mentorship focuses anywhere from grazing management to building public trust, research, all kinds of areas. So in addition to being in the program and matched with an industry leader as a mentor, participants also get a $2,000 budget to put towards learning opportunities of their choice and expanding their network.
Applications are being accepted until the end of March. More information can be found at cattlemensyoungleaders.com. New numbers are being posted on Elections Alberta website show the opposition NDP raised more money last year than the governing United Conservatives, but not by much. The NDP raised just under $5,062,000 from supporters compared to $5,046,000 by the UCP. NDP leader Rachel Notley says the numbers suggest that many Albertans are frustrated with Premier Jason Kenney. United Conservative Party President Ryan Becker says his party, meanwhile, is overwhelmed by the generosity of their supporters. Rachel Notley's NDP says Alberta Premier Jason Kenney's halted Keystone XL pipeline deal with the U.S. will cost Alberta taxpayers billions of dollars. The party is requesting an emergency motion aimed at releasing a full risk analysis to the public. The deal, which has been axed by U.S. President Joe Biden earlier this week, consists of $1.5 billion in equity and $6 billion in loan guarantees. NDP energy critic Kathleen Ganley claims Albertans deserve to know exact numbers regarding the deal.
We are announcing that our caucus will be making a formal request at the next public account meeting on Tuesday. The UCP members of that committee will have to make a decision. Will they stand up for the public interest and make these documents public? Or will they vote to keep the details of this deal a secret from the public and prevent legislative oversight? Albertans still don't know exactly how much we are on the hook for. The Premier has said that it's around $1.5 billion in equity and construction costs, but that number could grow.
Regina's mayor is outraged. Sandra Masters says many are embarrassed after the City Council's Executive Committee voted in favor of a motion that would restrict energy companies from sponsoring or advertising within the city. Masters was one of the 4 council members who voted against the motion. She says over a 10-year period, the city administration could lose about $10 million in sponsorship revenue if the full council approves the motion next Wednesday. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe called the motion absurd. The Regina Chamber of Commerce says Saskatchewan's energy sector provides economic stability for many families and businesses. Federal officials say they do not understand Manitoba's position that it'll take until the end of the year to vaccinate all adults in the province against COVID-19. Dr. Howard New, Canada's Deputy Chief Public Health Officer, says that's not Ottawa's understanding. He says all Canadians will be offered vaccination by the end of September. The Manitoba government says federal data it has received suggest only 74% of the province's adult population will be vaccinated by the end of the year. Newfoundland and Labrador is celebrating the 1-year anniversary of a record-breaking winter storm with another storm. It was difficult to see across the street in St. John's due to blowing snow. The city was expected to receive around 30 centimeters of the white stuff. This time last year, the capital city was under a state of emergency after the infamous Snowmageddon blizzard shut down the city for an entire week. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canada and the new Biden White House will agree on more than they disagree, despite the new U.S. president's decision to kill off the Keystone XL pipeline project. Trudeau says he understands why those in the energy sector are extremely disappointed right now.
Obviously, the decision on Keystone XL is a very difficult one for workers in Alberta and Saskatchewan who've had many difficult hits over the past years. We have been there for them. We will continue to be there for them, and I will express my concern for jobs and livelihoods in Canada, particularly in the West, directly in my conversation with President Biden. But I think the fact that we have so much alignment, not just me and President Biden, but Canadians and President Biden on values of creating jobs and prosperity for everyone, opportunities for everyone, investing in the fight against climate change as a way of growing the economy.
Senate Republicans are pushing for former U.S. President Donald Trump's impeachment trial to begin next month, but Democrats don't agree. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has announced that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to send the article of impeachment to the Senate on Monday. That will launch the start of Trump's trial on a charge of incitement of insurrection over the deadly Capitol riot on January the 6th. A former Houston, Texas police officer faces 2 federal misdemeanor charges linked to the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Tam Pham is charged with entering a restricted building and engaging in disorderly or disruptive conduct on Capitol grounds.
Really, the crux of the matter is whether or not he understood that he was not supposed to be at the location where he was at the time, or whether or not he believed it was permissible for him to be there. Mr. Pham has never kept anything back from the government. The minute the government asked for information, he provided his phone, he provided answers to their questions. We weren't surprised at all to see the pictures. Again, the real question is whether or not he was allowed to be where he was.
U.S. President Joe Biden plans executive action providing stopgap relief to millions of Americans while Congress considers his $1.9 trillion aid package. The country's National Economic Council Director, Brian Deese, says if they don't act now, they will be in a much worse place.
Our economy is at a very precarious moment. We are 10 million jobs short still of where the economy was when this pandemic started. Last month, The economy lost jobs for the first time since last spring. Retail sales fell last month, and just yesterday we saw another 900,000 Americans file for unemployment insurance. That's a weekly rate that is higher than any week during the Great Recession. It's a moment that requires decisive action.
Still in the United States, some people won a coronavirus lottery by getting leftover doses of a vaccine that would otherwise spoil. But high demand has created problems when people rush to get the head of the line.
But entered like every single day, entered the drawing to be picked, and I got a call that today was the day. So had about 5 minutes to just throw a jacket on, run out the door, and then drove over here. One of the nurses was saying I should go buy a lottery ticket right now. I think they were saying they have 15,000 people every day, and they picked one today.
No, if you're old enough, you may remember a baseball player by the name of Hank Aaron. Well, a sad baseball note today, the legendary Hank Aaron died at the age of 86. Hammered Hank endured racist harassment and threats as he pursued and broke Babe Ruth's career home run record in the pre-steroids era. Aaron set multiple records during his 23 years in the majors. The Hall of Famer will be best remembered for one swing in 1974 that made him baseball's home run king with 715 homers. It was a title he held for more than 33 years. It was almost baseball-like weather today. No rain, no snow, but a little on the chilly side. And the cooler temperatures will remain for the next while, along with a slight chance of some snow next week. Full weather details are on deck. It felt a little more like winter today, minus the snowfall. Jeanette Rocher is here now with a complete look at the weather picture. Jeanette, no snow, but a slightly cooler weekend is shaping up. Still not bad for this time of year.
Yeah, not bad at all, although I do have to say I was a little surprised this morning to have to scrape the ice off of my windshield. We've been so spoiled lately. But yes, definitely we are seeing the temperature drop to give us more average temperatures for this time of year. Into tonight, minus 14, the high, going to feel like minus 22 this evening with the wind chill. Into tomorrow, Saturday, should be a lovely weekend ahead of us. The minus temperatures, but lots of sunshine. Minus 7 expected to be the high on Saturday, minus 9 on Sunday, going to dip down to minus 12 on Monday, and a 60% chance of flurries on Monday as well. Mainly overcast skies on Tuesday, minus 8 the high, minus 12 for Wednesday, and minus 9 for next Thursday. So we're certainly, the mercury's dropping, making us more in this range here of the average seasonals, averaged temperatures for this time of year is what I'm trying to say. Minus 2 is the average high for this time of year. Minus 14 the average low. 15 was our high temperature back in 1942, and in 1969 we had our chilliest day on record, which is minus 38. 8:16 is when the sun rose this morning, and our sunset right at 5:10 this evening. So days getting a little bit longer. Let's take a look at the west coast. So a cooler air low pressure system is creeping along the west coast. Vancouver is going to experience snow come Saturday night and into Sunday, but tomorrow mainly sunny. 3 the high for Vancouver. Victoria, it's not going to affect them very much. 5 the high there. Minus 14 the high in Edmonton. Could expect some flurries there. And minus 7 tomorrow, the high in Calgary. In the rest of the prairies, lots of snow expected as well. Minus 18 the high in Saskatoon, chance of snow. 60% chance of flurries in Regina. Minus 14 the high there. Minus 7 the high in Winnipeg. And keep in mind, these temperatures are going to feel a lot chillier with that wind chill. Over in Toronto tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. Minus 3 the high. Minus 11 the high in Ottawa. They're going to be experiencing some snowfall there as well. Montreal's high, minus 11. Mix of sun and cloud right here. Over in Atlantic Canada, more precipitation is expected in certain areas. Fredericton, for example, minus 5. The expected high tomorrow, chance of flurries there. Halifax will have more snow this evening, but it should clear up by tomorrow. Minus 1, the high there. Charlottetown's high, minus 3. And St. John has been under winter storm watches. Going to be expecting more snow tonight and into Saturday. And 50 kilometer per hour winds. Minus 3 is the high there. That is your weather report. Let's take a look at what's happening in the mountains with our ski report coming up right now.
Castle Mountain has no new snowfall to report over the past 72 hours, but they have an 84 centimeter base. No new snow at Nikiska as well, but they have a 95 centimeter base. Sunshine Village saw 2 centimeters of fresh powder over the past 72 hours with a 150 centimeter base. 3 centimeters of new snow for Lake Louise with a 115 centimeter base. No new snow at Mount Norquay, and it has a 95 centimeter base. In BC, Panorama has a 69 centimeter base. No fresh powder in either Fernie or Kimberley, but they both have an 85 centimeter base. And that's a look at your Bridge City News Ski Report.
Stats Canada says retail sales rose 1.3% in November as holiday shoppers began gift giving early online amid the pandemic to avoid shipping delays. The agency says e-commerce sales were up almost 76% from a year earlier. Retail sales overall climbed to $55.2 billion. The agency says consumers also shopped early to take advantage of Black Friday promotions. But its early estimates suggest retail sales fell 2.6% in December, usually the height of the holiday shopping season. A trade organization representing Canada's movie theaters is calling on BC health officials to explain why cinemas in the province can only open if they're operating as a bar or restaurant. A spokesperson with the Movie Theatre Association of Canada says COVID-19 guidelines to allow theaters to project sporting events on the big screen but not movies is absurd. Vancouver's Rio Theatre is moving forward with plans to reopen on Saturday by pivoting its business to operate as a bar. The city's Hollywood Theatre made a similar move back in December. Irving Oil has laid off 60 workers from its St. John, New Brunswick refinery. The company says the pandemic had an extreme and serious impact on its industry. The company says it also reduced its contractor workforce to 225 workers from a workforce of about 1,000 earlier this year. Irving Oil says the collapse in demand for motor fuels and jet fuel continues to create significant challenges. The company says it is sorry for the impact of the changes had on their team. Google is threatening to make its search engine unavailable in Australia if the government there proceeds to make tech giants pay for news content. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison quickly shot back that his government does not respond to threats. Morrison's comments came after the managing director for Google Australia told a Senate inquiry into the bill that the new rules would be unworkable. The proposed code of conduct aims to make Google and Facebook pay Australian media companies for using news content the tech giants siphon from various news sites. Now, here's a look at today's markets. The TSX was down 70 points in the day to finish at 17,845. The Dow was down 179 points to 30,996. The S&P 500 was down 11 points to 3841, and the Nasdaq was up 12 points to 13,543. West Texas Intermediate Oil was down 86 cents to 52.27 US per barrel. Natural gas was down 4 cents to 2.45 US. Gold was down 14.40 to 18.55.62 US an ounce, and silver was down 44 cents to 25.49 US an ounce. Wheat is at $290 per metric ton, barley's at $294, canola's at $6.49, and corn is at $325 per metric ton. Live cattle were up $263 to $116.73. Feeder cattle were up $1.38 to $137.25, and lean hogs were up $1.83 to $69.93. The Canadian dollar was down slightly over the past 24 hours to 78.53 US. Recapping one of our top stories this hour, Lethbridge police have charged a 29-year-old man in connection with a suspicious package that was left at the police station yesterday. Public access was closed and a portion of the station was evacuated after the package was tossed into the front entrance around 10:15 a.m. Kyle Glenn Lowe of Lethbridge faces a number of charges, including arson, mischief, and intimidation of justice. He appeared in court earlier today to answer to those charges. There's a Christian organization which has been flying the skies for Christ for around 75 years. Hear about the work the Christian Aviation Fellowship is doing around the world in our interview with the group's CEO, Brad Bell. That Q&A is on deck.